This video is brought to you by hoodbeast.com. Design your own custom hoodies. hoodbeast.com. We are beast.
Yo, what is up, guys? It's me, Zach Lee, and can we all just take a second to pray that the Pistons land a top 3 pick in the draft tonight?
Nope.
Pop, how much more difficult is it without him, obviously, against a team like Golden State,
man.
as opposed to
how much more difficult is it?
I mean,
how would it be if Curry didn't play? How much more difficult would that be? I'm not a happy camper, but that's a silly question. A two-step lead with your foot closeout is not appropriate. It's dangerous. It's unsportsmanlike. It's just not what anybody does to anybody else. And this particular individual has a history with that kind of action. You can go back and look in Dallas games where he got a flagrant 2 for elbowing Patty Mills. The play where he took Kawhi down and locked his arm in Dallas and could have broken his arm. Ask David West, his current teammate, how things went when Zaza was playing for Dallas and he and David got into it. And then think about the history he's had and what that means to a team, what happened last night. A totally unnatural closeout that the league has outlawed years ago and pays great attention to it. And Kawhi's not there. And you want to know how we feel about it. You want to know if that lessens our chances or not. We're playing very possibly the best team in the league. You know, we don't know what's going to happen in the East. And 9.75 people out of 10 would figure the Warriors will beat the Spurs. Well, we've had a pretty damn good season. We've played fairly well in the playoffs. I think we're getting better. And we're up 23 points in the third quarter against Golden State. And Kawhi goes down like that. And you want to know if our chances are less, and you want to know how we feel? That's how we feel. Nobody wants to do anything that would put anybody else in danger for a game or a career. This guy's history is different. And when you're playing Golden State in their place and you're playing like that, it's pretty cool. And if he would have played and they'd ended up winning, I go get dinner, have a glass of wine, wake up the next day, go to practice, and move on. But this is crap. And because he's got this history, it can't just be, oh, it was inadvertent. He didn't have intent. Who gives a damn about what his intent was? You ever hear of manslaughter? You still go to jail, I think, when you're texting and you end up killing somebody. But you might not have intended to do that. All I care is what I saw. All I care about is what happened. And the history there exacerbates the whole situation and makes me very, very angry.
You the real MVP.
And just when I thought I couldn't possibly get any more respect for this man, I don't even think I need to say anything else. I mean, he just said everything that all of us were thinking and wanted to say. Popovich is normally a man of very few words when it comes to the media, and it's very telling that he let Zaza have it in front of the media like that. That was crazy. And of course, Zaza Pachulia did go on record once again to try and clear his name after the Popovich comments.
Popovich said today,
Yeah.
and any response at this point?
No response. I have a lot of respect for Coach Pop and their organization, you know, whatever they have done throughout there, whatever they're doing. A lot of respect, and I mean it, and no comments, no response, and focus on game 2, honestly. I really feel bad for the guy. I wish it didn't happen, and you know, had a different result basically. But again, it's a game. There's some things sometimes you can't control it, right? And I have a lot of respect of Kawhi. I think he's one of the best players in this league, and wish him, you know, all the best to get healthy back. But again, meanwhile, we're gonna move on. I don't agree with the calls that I'm a dirty player. I'm not a dirty player. Just love this game, and I'm playing hard. That's how I was taught since day one, honestly. So that's what I've been doing. And that's my last comment about it. Again, all my mind is about next game because that's the most important game for me.
And I still don't see why the media insists on asking the party that is in question whether or not they did it. I mean, what confession do you expect to get from Zaza or his teammates? If you want a confession, you're just gonna have to wait until after he retires, till he releases his book called If I Did It. James Harden is one of the NBA's greatest offensive masterminds on the court, and he is now being accused by former NBA great Moses Malone for also being a mastermind off the court. And brace yourselves, guys. This story is really crazy because it all apparently started over a Facebook post of Malone basically criticizing Harden for charging kids $250 to attend his basketball camp. And what happened, I guess, is this, Malone makes that post. Sometime after that, he's in a club in Houston, Texas. He's then assaulted and robbed from between $15,000 to $50,000 worth of jewelry by 4 men in that club. First off, I just want to say this, $15,000 to $50,000? How do you come up with a range like that? Like, how do you not know if it was $15,000 or $50,000 that was stolen from you? I think you would know that. Anyways, after that, the police apprehended one of the suspects, and the suspect said, quote, "He disrespected James Harden and needs to be punished for that." And that's basically it for the evidence in this case. But Moses Malone is also claiming that Harden paid these guys $20,000 to do this and that he was the mastermind behind all of this. And Moses Malone is also trying to sue the club for $1 million for damages. And high key, this whole story is just ridiculous. First off, why would Harden pay someone $20,000 to beat someone up over a Facebook post criticizing him for charging kids to pay at a basketball camp? That just doesn't make sense. And then you have grown men out here saying that Moses Malone deserves to be punished for criticizing James Harden. This doesn't make sense at all. They'd have to be some type of psycho James Harden fan, like part of some James Harden master race cult or something, to do something like this. Overall, this is probably just one of the most messed up stories that I've ever covered. The Sacramento Kings are trying to turn over a new leaf. Like, they're really trying. Or at least that's what they have said after they traded away DeMarcus Cousins at last year's trade deadline. And it does help that the Kings could have multiple lottery picks in this year's draft, as long as their original draft pick doesn't land outside of the top 10. If it does, then it goes to Chicago. Luckily for them though, it isn't projected to land any lower than 10. But even with the possibility of having 2 top 10 picks, it appears agents would rather see their clients end up in the D-League than Sacramento, as a report came out yesterday that claims that the agents are telling their clients to do whatever they can to avoid being drafted by the Kings. One agent was quoted saying this: "It would be malpractice to let my clients play for them. I've had clients there. It is still one of the most dysfunctional front offices in the league by a mile. How can you trust any of those guys with your players? It's gonna take a long time to build that trust." Now, as harsh as that sounds, if you are a Kings fan, this could be great news. Why? Because it's basically forcing the Kings front office to get their act together. When you have agents of players coming out and blasting you in the media for being this dysfunctional, there is no way that you can just sit there and continue to be as dysfunctional as you have been. And it is going to take time for the Kings to build any type of trust with anyone in the NBA world, whether it be the players, agents, or fans. It's going to take time, but it is possible that they gain the trust of us all back. It's possible. Didn't say it was likely, but it's possible. So, the matchup for the Eastern Conference Finals was officially decided last night when the Washington Wizards fell to the Boston Celtics, primarily at the end of the third quarter and the beginning of the fourth, when John Wall seemed to have run out of gas and Kelly Olynyk thought he was Larry Bird. Olynyk went off in that period and finished the game with 26 points off the bench. And speaking of benches, the battle of them wasn't even close last night, as Washington's bench was murdered by Boston's bench 48-5. 48-5. Talk about difference makers. Isaiah Thomas also played well in the closeout game with 29 points and 12 assists. And while it's no secret that the Cavs are heavy favorites to win their series against Boston, Avery Bradley doesn't think that we should count the Celtics out just yet.
I don't know if you heard the chants at the end. We want Cleveland.
Yeah, I heard it.
What do you think of the Cavs coming in and your chances of beating them?
I think we have a great chance if we continue to play the basketball that we played tonight. If we're playing hard and we're solid and playing hard as a team, I think that we have a chance.
And that's going to lead us to the question of the day. How many games do you see the Celtics Cavaliers series going? I know a lot of people think it's going to be over pretty quick, and I'm not gonna lie, I see myself as one of those people. Maybe Boston gets a game or two. Let me know your answer to the question of the day down in the comment section below, but now let's take a look at what some of you said in yesterday's video. And yesterday we talked about the Warriors Spurs game 1, and I asked you guys if you thought that Zaza hurt Kawhi on purpose, and you guys said this. Zaza was a huge pickup for the Warriors. His defensive presence took out Kawhi's offense for a large portion of the fourth quarter. Defensive player of the year? I love the Warriors and I really want to say this was accidental, but it's not. Zaza knew what he was doing. It's no controversy. That was a regular and normal contest on a jump shot. Stop giving in to such unnecessary controversy. It's a step back. Players at the NBA level are smart enough to realize that they don't want to give excellent shooters any comfortable space. He took an extra step because his brain realized that he was stepping back. Can't believe you're skeptical about this. Have you never played pickup games before? That's simply a normal contest. I can't believe it, and I'm a Spurs fan. So your argument is basically that his brain told him that because he's taking a step back, he needs to take an extra step too. It makes sense. But the fact that he took the extra step after the ball had already passed Zaza's hands doesn't make sense whatsoever. So if his brain was telling him that he needed to take an extra step because it was a step back, then why did his brain not tell him that it was too late to take that extra step anyways, and he still took the extra step? Yo, there is no excuse that you can make for that extra step, and that's why I said it was an unnatural play. Not only is it an unnatural play, but if you try doing what Zaza did yourself, it feels very unnatural to do that. Anyways, don't forget to leave your answer to today's question of the day down in the comment section below. But other than that, thank you once again for watching the video. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to leave a like on it and subscribe to stay up to date with everything going on in the NBA. And until tomorrow, keep getting the Bucks, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!